Evan Mobley is here. He has arrived. His counting stats may not reflect that on the surface, but as we all know, you cannot judge a player's development solely based upon the stat lines. I mean, sure, he has subtly increased his averages nearly across the board, but that won't necessarily indicate that the gargantuan leap many pundits and fans alike thought he'd have after such an impressive rookie season has actually occurred. But if you are paying attention to the finer details of his game, you will notice many of the improvements he's made since then. Fresh off a rookie season in which he lost out on the Rookie of the Year award to Scotty Barnes up in Toronto, Mobley entered the season with expectations that were through the roof. He greeted those expectations with per game averages of 14.5 points, 9 rebounds, and 2.8 assists through the first 2 months of the 2022-23 season, a span of 36 games. Not bad, but it's pretty close to where he finished his rookie season. This led to some calling into question Mobley's development, including former Cavs big man and enforcer Kendrick Perkins, who publicly called out the USC product for quote-unquote not taking that leap.
When the hell is Evan Mobley? Like, Jared Allen went out last night, okay, with 7 minutes in the first quarter. He was out with a sickness, a stomach virus, or whatever the case may be. We've been waiting on Evan Mobley to take that leap, like in the conversation with elite bigs. High expectations. Yep. I'm talking about, a guy that's 18, 20, and 10, at least flirting around the DeAndre Ayton type numbers. If he don't take that next leap, and he don't start to grow in areas that we expect him to grow in, then to be honest, we're going to be wasting time watching this dynamic backcourt of Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland, because he is the key. Like, he's the key. What was the second or third pick in the draft? And one could argue that he should have been the first pick.
I did.
But he hasn't lived up to it this season, and they need more out of him. Like 12 and 8 ain't getting it.
Nope.
Then came the month of January, where Mobley appeared to turn the corner as an offensive threat, scoring at least 17 points in 9 of the Cavs' 15 total games and averaging near 20 and 10 in the final 10 games of the month. Now that might not sound like much, but once you consider the fact that Mobley did this as the third option most nights for a team that already features a pair of 20 plus points per game scorers in Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell, it really puts things into perspective. We already know the exceptional brand of defense that Mobley is capable of, but something must have sunk in on the other end of the court. Mobley appears most comfortable in the paint as he has completed a staggering 78.3% of his 355 total attempts within the restricted area. A huge part of this is his growth as a screener, an area of his game that needed serious improvement following his rookie campaign. He just didn't look comfortable operating as the roller in pick and roll sets, and it showed. He appears to have made strides this season though. Gone are the days in which the Cavs relied mostly upon Jared Allen to set screens and man the 5. Just take a look at this play, where Mobley is able to provide a solid enough pick to free himself and immediately rolls to the rim, which sets up a dunk attempt from Donovan Mitchell.
The NBA's most improved player. Last year was a little bumpier for the veteran Randall. Mobley at the rim. Takes the Mitchell feed.
Of course, having a 7'4" wingspan helps widen your catch radius as well.
Steps himself to the team. That was a terrific catch by Mobley. As Mobley turns
to go with 12 points. Garland in transition. The lob. Mobley with the throwdown.
Looking for the alley-oop. Instead they get a follow away and it goes down.
Mobley may not be among the league's elite yet as a screener, and he may never be, but I gotta say, going from the 22.6 percentile as a roll man to the 45.8 percentile is a pretty substantial leap in the span of just a season. It should also be noted that Jared Allen, the Cavs' true center, finished within the 78.5 percentile last year and is within the 53rd percentile this season. There is clearly a correlation here, but due to Allen's presence alone, I am not sure how much higher this will climb due to the nature of how the Cavs run sets. It is, however, an improvement nonetheless. There is also a visible difference in the general aggressiveness that Mobley played with last season compared to this season. It's not necessarily something that can be quantified by stats, but the eye test will tell you that he is openly inviting contact at the rim and will use both his size and added strength to bully his way to the cup. Many people have talked about it already, but one of the toughest things for defenders to navigate is when Mobley gathers the ball and unleashes a powerful burst towards the rim for a two-handed jam.
Stronger defense to help into that offense comes around. Mobley, mismatches everywhere.
Oh, Mobley against Cunningham, the sophomore on sophomore.
Accepting that challenge defensively, that he knows his minutes will come from the defensive end, and he's here.
And there is Osmond on cue, rifles one inside to Mobley.
Levert gets the screen, left alone. Mobley. Evan Mobley underneath. He's in double digits now.
Or even a hop step into a floater that his opponents have little to no chance of rejecting due to his release point and timing.
Confidence in that three-point shot, and he knocks it down.
Allen bounces to Mobley. Well, he was pinned beneath.
Mobley shows no fear, and I love the fact that despite his ball handling being a point of contention among fans at times, he is adamant about toting the rock. He is not yet what one would consider a reliable isolation scorer, which is evidenced by his 37.8% field goal percentage and 9.7 percentile rank in ISO scenarios, but he can attack you off the dribble.
He mix and match. Wanted to get the ball to Allen as Mobley makes his move. How about the matchup? J-Dub just trying to get
Underway in the third quarter. Stevens deals to Mobley. Mobley with those long slides. He guides it in.
Generally leaves him at halftime. It's happened again. It's happened again.
He can post you up, back you down, and finish over you.
Down here he is working on a shorter hill. Can he use his height advantage? Indeed. Got nothing for him.
if they do. Here's Mobley. And he gets the bounce, 12 points
of the NBA. As meanwhile, here's Mobley inside. Mobley flicks it up and in over Brano.
But perhaps where he is most dangerous is an area that doesn't get enough mention. It's his work as a cutter. Mobley ranks within the 84th.1 percentile as a cutter. He is an absolute threat when receiving the ball off a cut. One way a player who is still limited as a spacer can help make up for it is to keep his movements intentional and to look for open cutting lanes as a play develops. If he does, he can make himself available to the ball handler to receive the ball in a position where the defense can't adjust, especially in the case of a backdoor cut or a dump off.
37-32 is the Cavalier lead. Allen makes the catch, finds Mobley. Mobley dunks. And Plumlee cheated. He gambled, and he gets
set. And it's a whole different story.
Garland, clever move inside. Better pass, better finish. Use the shot clock. Allen back to Levert inside. Now to Mobley. Takes a dribble. Mobley puts it up and puts it in.
The USC product has really been utilizing a pretty effective spin move that will make even Dwight Schrute blush.
Oh, hello, Dwight.
Spin move.
To help free himself up for less contested baskets.
Now you'll see the big guys getting some minutes, obviously, for Cleveland. Can they make an impact? Mobley does, right? On him.
Mobley spinning and getting the bounce. He's got 22.
And that's the part of his.
Especially when driving towards the rim. If he feels he has a mismatch, he would not be afraid to pull it out of his offensive bag. An area of his game that has seen improvement is his work as a mid-range shooter. He has completed 42.9% of his attempts from the mid-range area compared to 37.8% during his rookie campaign. And while the volume isn't necessarily the same as it was last season, he is just 19 makes shy of making more than he did despite taking 58 fewer attempts thus far, and when you consider that he's played in 6 fewer games, the efficiency becomes clear. He is developing into a reliable mid-range threat, and by doing so, his confidence and willingness to pull up on a defender should both continue to rise as he becomes more and more efficient. I could sit here all day and gush over his defensive capabilities, but what I'll do instead is highlight an underappreciated skill he possesses, and that would be his ability to facilitate. Mobley is not going to conduct the offense nearly as much as the backcourt will, but his knack for finding cutters while in motion or passing out of the short roll is not something that is seen out of a player his size all that often. His 41.9 passes made per game ranks 6th among all centers behind only Nikola Jokic, Domantas Sabonis, Nikola Vucevic, Julius Randle, and Anthony Davis. He keeps the ball moving and will only get better given more opportunities. I live for the big-to-big passing we see on a nightly basis from Mobley to Allen. It's a difficult thing to defend. Now, at the end of the day, despite ceding touches to both Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell and sharing the front court with another all-star level talent in Jarrett Allen, Mobley is continuing to take that next step people knew he would be capable of taking.